Ormond, did you see Black Adam? It came out. It's already on Amazon Prime. Did you see it? No, because you're in space like a bad boy. Still. And you don't get any dessert until you come home. But then you're still not getting dessert because it's been like 8 months. Frick. So Black Adam is already out on Amazon Prime. Did I say that in the intro? I don't remember. Yeah, like that. You can already purchase that. I feel like that just came out. What the fuck is time? I mean, I got depression and anxiety, and time fucking just melts away. And it flies by when you're having fun. Oh my booby. Ooh. But yeah, it's already out on streaming, and you can buy it, and I bought it. And didn't that just happen? That's not a good sign when things go to sale that quickly. But then again, since Ebola happened, things have been like getting released pretty fast, which is nice because I fucking hate theaters. I always have, and I thought we were finally done with this shit, and now everybody's just going back to it. So Black Adam was good overall. I liked it. This is very meat smacky movie. I smacked my meat to it. There's a lot of action and a lot of really good like visuals and CGI and stuff. There's a cool moment where you get like a sort of remix or some kind of background music-y version of Paint It Black when Black Adam first wakes up and he's like annihilating this army that's going after this crown. And he's moving really fast and kind of exploding things and setting things up to sort of kill everybody, who they're all moving in like slow motion since he's fucking lightning fast. It's a pretty cool segment. The stream I'm watching is at 4,444 views. But yeah, like there's a lot of good fighting in this. I mean, a lot of superhero movies seems to only has one good like segment or maybe two or something, and they don't really feel like they're that long at times. I don't know. Some of them felt like that. But this one has lots of action. Like the Justice Society fights Black Adam in a pretty cool segment. Hawkman goes toe-to-toe with him a bit in the sky, and there's like some cool comboing involving Atom Smasher and what's that wind lady's name? And Dr. Fate and stuff. Which I thought Dr. Fate was supposed to be really fucking powerful, but he's only doing like illusion tricks and making like simple barriers and stuff. I guess one of them doesn't break at one point, so that's kind of powerful and cool. And I guess he reads minds. I don't know. It's not like Doctor Strange is consistently powerful in any of his movies he's been in. That changes. So fuck it. But then Black Adam like fights Hawkman again briefly in an apartment, and it's cool because he's just finally kind of using his powers in a one-on-one fight. And he's just zipping around, throwing Hawkman through walls and shit. I think that's Hawkman. His last name's Hawk. First name, Ethan. But it's almost like the movie was nothing but that. Not a whole lot of, like, exposition or stuff. Just lots of fighting and CGI. But, I mean, it's a superhero, anti-hero, villain movie. It doesn't get, like, super pretentious like some of Zack Snyder's stuff. It doesn't really try to pretend to be super deep. It's just smacking with some, you know, morals and stuff here and there. And, like, Black Adam is just a fucking badass throughout the whole movie. He never once really wavers from his anti-hero position. Like, there aren't any moments, really, where people are like, you need to stop killing, and he actually listens. He just keeps killing. like, this is how I do things. I'm not a hero. Like, alright, I'll be a protector and all, but I'm lightning motherfuckers. That's not changing. Like, there's a moment where he says he's not gonna hurt some people they capture to try and find out where, like, the main kid of the movie is being held. And he's like, yeah, I won't hurt him. And he flies off with them up into the sky and then drops them both eventually. And it goes back to this funny bit where they're There's like a joke around sarcasm. And he's like, oh yeah, I was just being sarcastic. And Dr. Fate's like, that's not, oh. But yeah, like the humor's good because there's a whole bit around sarcasm like that, where they're teaching Black Adam how to properly use it. And later on, he's like, oh, I love teams. Let's do this. And Dr. Fate's like, that was sarcasm again, wasn't it? And he's like, yep. And he just kind of takes off and does his own thing at the end when they're trying to plan how to rescue the kid. And just kind of resumes killing everybody. They keep talking about how they're going to work together and killing's not allowed, and he never once really goes along with that. Then there's a joke around Adam Smasher, who's a dude that can grow big, because there's a lot of similar stuff between Marvel and DC, so don't you fucking say anything about anything. There's a point there. You know, they got a lot of heroes that share a lot of powers, and fuck if I know who even came first. Fun fact, Namor came before Aquaman by like a year or something. So yeah, they've always had a bit of a rip-off war going. Anyway, Adam Smasher is like pissing Hawkman off. He knocks over a ancient statue in Black Adam's city at one point, and Hawkman gets like mad at him and just says, you and me are gonna have to talk about this. And then later on, when they're trying to work with Black Adam a bit, Black Adam kind of disregards Adam Smasher when he's in his big form and just flies almost through him at one point. And he's like, hey, you know, I'm here. You could at least say, excuse me, you jerk, and lifts up his hand, and Hawkman flies into it. After he gets up, he's just like, you and me. It's just kind of a thing he does twice. Adam Smasher's kind of an annoying prick. Speaking of, the kid actors in this were kind of annoying. There's the kid in the intro who the legends want you to believe is Black Adam. More on that later. He's like an okay actor, but he's largely speaking in, I think it's a fake language, because Kahndaq is, I think, a made-up country that Black Adam rules over and lives in and is from. I don't fucking research. I just point the camera and yell at it. But there are moments where he's like talking to Black Adam in kind of a vision, and it sounds really corny. I mean, he's a kid actor, so those are just a crapshoot. Like the modern times kid actor who is playing the kid I mentioned that got kidnapped before. He's not very good. He's extra annoying. He's like 90s fucking movie kid actor. Kind of annoying. No offense. It's just, they definitely kind of slapped that part of the movie together and just focusing on action. He gives like a speech at one point where they're trying to rally the town together to fight some undead warrior things waking up. And he's, I don't know, there was some terrible, like, I don't know if it was ADR, they had to redo the speech or something, but there's like no emphasis in it. It's like he's not really into giving the speech. He's just saying things, and everybody kind of gets up. I don't know, if I heard that speech, I'd just be like, what? Is this a fucking kid saying? I can't hear him. I think he's whispering, oh god, zombies. But yeah, the undead were waking up because the fucking villain was just this generic asshole who became the champion for demons in the same way that Shazam and Black Adam were champions for wizards. He was a descendant of the king that originally took over Kahndaq with some crown. Well, he was trying to get the crown's power. He took over to get it, and Black Adam ends up killing him before he can get the crown. And then the villain of this movie is his descendant after many generations. Actually, like 5,000 years. And somehow this lineage just kept on passing down the tradition and knowledge of this crown and the desire to take over Kahndaq. It's like, wait, it's been 5,000 years, bro. Like, you're telling me they all passed this knowledge and all of this down all this time? Like, none of the relatives were like, yeah, I don't even know this, if this shit even actually happened. Like, maybe 500 years later, somebody might be like, I don't think this was real. Like, I don't think Black Adam happened, or this crown is real. But let's just keep passing this shit down. Fuck it. 5,000 years later, we get the villain who hatches this plan to get the crown by pretending to be, like, sort of this part of this little small liberation group. Really, he wants to get the crown, trick Black Adam into killing him so he can go to hell, and then I don't even know what the crown's point was. It was made of something called Eternium, which hurts Black Adam, which they only use a little bit here and there. It's not really even that important. The crown has like an inscription on it, and the inscription, I guess, helps. I think because he tricked Black Adam into lightninging him while he was holding the crown, and I think that transported him to hell. It's not very clear, but it's easy to assume that the crown kind of probably helped transport the guy's soul to hell, where he runs into the 7 demons, and they're like, "You will be our champion." And then they make him, I think his name's Kahndaq or something, because he even says the word in hell and becomes like a big gross demon thing. It's just it's almost like a Brock Lesnar demon with horns and roids and stuff. But you never really get much exposition from him. I mean, there's just that plot twist that like he's not actually a good guy and he's related to the king. You see that coming because he looks like him. I think it's the same actor playing him. And how the fuck does he look so much like him 5,000 years later? Like I mean, if I go back 5,000 years in my family tree, those aren't even my relatives. Like, there's a bit of DNA between us, but it's been pretty heavily diluted. Whatever. He kept the looks DNA. Yeah, he didn't even, like, really talk much or do much. He just tried to take over Kahndaq as a demon. But yeah, that was one of the plot twists, was him being, like, the villain king or something. Which, they don't even try to hide that. You can kind of see that coming. Like I said, he looks like the king from ancient times. But they've got the whole legend about Black Adam, like, wrong. Because you think this kid from ancient times that I mentioned is Black Adam. But in reality, he is the one the wizards choose to be the champion. And he does, like, go on to liberate the city and help and stuff. Somehow he doesn't take out this evil king immediately, though. He's Superman with lightning. And doesn't fucking take the king out. He goes off to fight other things, I guess. And then the father gets, like, attacked. The mother gets killed. And because the king wasn't very happy with this Shazam in the past helping people. And as the father's, like, dying, the fucking Shazam man, don't even know what to call him. He hands the power over to him. And that's what makes Black Adam. Because Black Adam's the father. Was the whole point. And then the son gets, like, killed because he's transferred the powers and some assassins followed him. And this makes Black Adam go into a rage. And he goes to the king's castle and someone finally fucking does something about him. Except he goes a little too nuts and almost blows the whole city away. And the wizards seal him away because they're like, oh shit, we gave mortals way too much fucking power. Oopsies! But, like, in the intro, when the legend is being told, you don't see the Rock anywhere because you just see the kid and some kind of, like, grandpa man who gets killed, and then his father, who's played by a different actor. But, like, I think the whole point was it was somebody narrating this story, so they don't entirely know all the details. Because when Black Adam is telling the actual origin, the father suddenly looks like the Rock. It's like, oh, okay. So these are the real details of what happened. And you don't know why Black Adam is so, like, adamant about not being a hero, and it seems so out of character for him to be the kid that's all about, like, rising up and fighting oppression and talking about their people needing a hero. Like, there's so much disconnect, and you're like, what the fuck happened between that point, the point where the kid's saying all this, and Black Adam now lightninging bitches like it's nothing. And that's how you find out. The father's all pissed off because his son got killed. So, I mean, I was worried they were rushing too much into making Black Adam an anti-hero, but that, I think, does an adequate job without having to build up hundreds of years of comic book fucking history that just gets rebooted and then debooted and then soft sequel booted. And then it all gets undone and booted together. And then Hawkman is believed to be the one that's going to die the whole movie because Dr. Fate is, like, seeing the future and he sees a vision with Hawkman dying. But plot twist, he's the one that doesn't want his friends to die, so he doesn't let anybody help him confront the demon man at the end, and as a result, he gets fucking killed. Which is a bold choice, killing Dr. Fate. I mean, I think they don't really want to be seen as copying Doctor Strange, unfortunately, so they probably aren't going to have him around at least for a while. And Pierce Brosnan's old anyway, so I don't think he wants to be signed up for, like, 20 of these movies. And then the vision about Hawkman getting stabbed was actually an illusion, because once Dr. Fate died, his helmet stayed behind, and Black Adam was actually struggling to fight Sabak Demon Man. Sounds like an anime. And Hawkman steps in to help using the helmet and using illusion magic. He says Dr. Fate taught him it. And so, yeah, it's what you see getting stabbed isn't him, it's an illusion. And the illusion duplicate things help Black Adam grab Demon Man, fly him into the sky and fucking rip him in half. And the whole point of the movie was that, like, okay, maybe Black Adam won't entirely be a hero because we might actually need someone that'll rip a motherfucker in half. Like, sometimes a motherfucker needs to be bisected, and Hawkman and Superman might not do that, but fucking Black Adam sure as hell will. Even at the end when Amanda Waller's like, all right, you broke out of our little prison, because they put him in a prison. When he gives his origin story, he's all sad because he lightnings the man that wants the crown and accidentally hits the kid too, and they think everything's all done because the guy's dead, and they don't know he's in hell. And so Black Adam gives himself up. They take him to, like, some underwater prison thing, where you see the girl from Suicide Squad, and... No? Was she Suicide? No, she was in John Cena's show. The John Cena Show, starring Jonathan Cena. Yeah, she's there. And anyway, they imprison Black Adam. Dr. Fate, like, wakes him up while he's fighting the demon guy. But anyway, that's what Amanda Waller's referring to, because he comes back and fights the Demon King, and she's like, you broke out of our prison! Now Kahndaq is your prison. You ain't fucking leaving or we're gonna kill your ass. And he's like, no one on Earth is gonna be able to do that. She's like, well, I know some people from off-Earth, motherfucker. And then that kind of brings me to, like, the last point. Until I ramble on for 20 more minutes. He just blows up the satellite thing that's projecting her hologram. Because he's like, fuck it, I'm still doing what I want. You're not imprisoning me. And then you see, like, a shadow kind of flying down into the smoke from the explosion. And it's Superman. He's like, you've made the world nervous. It's been a while since it's been this nervous. We need to talk. Which is cool. And he's like, it's weird because he's sneaking down into the clouds as a shadowy kind of figure, almost Batman-like. Which, that's what Zack Snyder made him out to be. So, that's why Batman had to be so fucking dark and gritty in Batman v Superman. Because Superman was already as dark as Batman. So you had to fucking push Batman further. But yeah, that was a cool little cameo, and, I liked what they did with Black Adam. Considering they don't have the time to write 50 comics about him being a villain trying to blow things up. They did a good job of making him an anti-hero that's still pretty heroic and still has, like, history of being a jerk, I guess. Like, he's established pretty firmly and pretty well. And there's, like, a whole thing about how the superheroes from outside the world don't really have the right to come in and tell them how to do things there. Like, Black Adam is their hero. They prefer him. So if he wants to kill criminals and shit, that's his prerogative and the country's prerogative. And none of the other heroes have the right to come in and try to establish a global order on their own. So it's not entirely soulless and without commentary and whatnot. But it's a lot of smacking, and the villains kind of suffer for it. You don't even really see a whole lot of the demons. That's probably somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's the same demons from Shazam. I don't think it is. I think that was another group of demons, because those guys possessed somebody to give him his powers. These ones acted like an evil version of the wizards. I don't know. So I guess they did that twice, sort of. And then you already got, like, a duplicate of Shazam fighting pretty much a more evil duplicate of him. It's like Black Adam versus evil Black Adam. Uh-oh, they're suffering that problem Marvel has, where it's the hero always fighting an evil version. Perhaps a video for another time. It was a good movie. I actually recommend it. Maybe give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I mean, what do you want out of these superhero movies when you give them like 30%? You expecting Titanic? Thank God it wasn't. I don't really have... Shazam! Stamp a carpet! Also, I left out that he gets a suit that looks more like his comic suit later on. Because when he's first Black Adam, he's kind of naked and gets mad when his son dies and gets, like, the black suit you see. And then once he decides to become a hero to save everybody from more evil Black Adam and has, like, the vision of his son and wife before he wakes back up, becomes Black Adam. He's got the comic one, which is cool. He's got a cape now and gold belts and highlights and things, and yep. That's why he names himself Black Adam. There's a whole thing about him, like, learning catchphrases and stuff and learning from pop culture about kind of being a hero and doing badass things, which was pretty well done. There's a funny moment where he tries to give his catchphrase and fucking drops a guy who dies before he can finish it. He's like, "The man in black sent you." It was too late. The guy was already meat paste on the ground. This is a good movie. Yep. Wormon! This is a train. Fuck!